Building a space where the bold come to play. Stream like a boss, this is your day. Stream like a boss, take the crown. Lift your hustle, don't back down. Build your crew, make it thrive. We go live, live, live.
So, hey folks, I'm popping in for a little bit because of a couple of reasons. One, I just needed to go live and to hang out with you guys. Two, I've had a lot of questions popping up lately and I wanted to try to answer some. So I'm going to pull up a few of them that have come up into my comments threads on different places, and I'll do my best to answer. And I just want to give you some time to ask like in real life. So if you actually have questions and you're here, put them in the chat and let's discuss. Let's see what we can talk about. And it may pertain to live streaming or it may pertain to something else. If I don't know the answer, then I will tell you I don't know the answer. If it's something that I don't necessarily feel that I have the wherewithal to talk about right now, then I probably won't do that. So I'm going to just say that. Let me do this real quick here because a couple of the questions came through on Substack. So I'm going to go over to Substack and make sure that I'm open there. It looks like we do have a window open there and folks are joining. It's been a tough day. It's been tough to see things going on in the world, particularly in the country that we live in. I live in the U.S. Some of you may not. It's just been really interesting the last couple of years, especially to see things and hear things that don't necessarily fit where I thought we were. But I don't want to dive too deep into that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these questions up. This is just a little cathartic for me to be able to be on here live with you. What I'm going to do real quick is let me get rid of this banner because it's just from an old show, I think. Okay, let's do this. Some of the questions that came up were in reference to a few posts that I have on Substack. Now, for those of you who don't know what Substack is, if you go to substack.com, because I know a lot of people are starting to get familiar with it, but I just want to put it out there and say it's a space where originally I think the premise behind it or the focus for the folks there was on writers, authors, writers, people who write. And I actually previously in my past life used to write a whole lot more. But once I started doing more video and doing on-camera content, I kind of got a little bit lazy with my writing, I'll be honest with that, and started to speak out loud what I'd like to say. Now, that is sometimes in rhythm with where I'm thinking, and then other times it's not so much because I'm a processor. So for those of you who are processors, you know what I'm talking about. Like we need to process information before we speak and to make sure that what we're saying is valid or relevant. Yes, William Rochelle. Bill, I am really live. You did an entire show with a sound check banner. Been there. How about this? I did an entire show. Well, not an entire show, but a show where I had about, 5 minutes in, I was muted completely. That wasn't that long ago either. So look, I'm not dressed up. I'm not made up, none of that stuff. I literally just decided probably about 30 minutes ago that I was going to go live. So, hey, what's up, Dr. Vibe Show in the house? What's up? I'm going to just try to answer some questions. So if you have any questions related to live streaming or video or anything that I might be privy to knowing, then I'm more than happy to share that. If you've got questions about Notebook LM, a few other AI tools that I've been using, then I can answer those too. I'm going to go into the space where I saw several. Okay, so one of the things that I did on Substack, and I was trying to explain what it is, it's a space that originally was really focused on writers, but there are more and more people who have a variety of talents including video, including audio podcast only, including writers. And I just love how versatile the space has become. But it's also a place where you get a chance to connect with people who just are different, right? We see the same old social media people in some of our spaces because the algorithm shows you more of the same. And so I love that Substack has given me the ability to meet other people, new friends that I did not know before. Chris Stone in the house. What's up, OG? It's wonderful to see you again. It was so much fun. I meant to send you a note and tell you how much fun it was to hang out with you and Hicks and with our girl Erica the other night. So I missed that. Do you have your own club? Dan, you are fly. You are the brand. And look, now that you are like a TED Talk speaker, hey, I can't beat that brand. The brand is, you are the man with the brand. I love it. Okay, so let's see. On your preview show, you discussed a Google product that created images better. What was that product? Great question. So don't let me forget. I'm going to star your question, Bill, so that I can come back to it and I will answer that question too. That's a good one for us to talk about. Really, I just wanted to get my mind off of all the things that are going on, y'all. It's been a crazy time. And I don't just mean universally crazy, but also in my personal. There's just a lot. It's heavy. So I wanted the ability to just kind of get away from that for a little while. Dan, I see your note. I'm not even popping that up. Thank you, Dr. Vibe Show. I am fine and safe. We have heat. And there are people that I know that are in my space that have sent me notes today that said they don't have heat. And so I am concerned and definitely thinking of and praying for each and every one of you who is affected by the cold right now, the cold, the winter storm and the ice, all of that we're getting hit with right now. Not as bad as what I think they anticipated in the Dallas area, but it's nasty. It's not good. Okay. Dr. Vibe Show has another question for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to star these questions so I can come back to them. Because first one I want to answer on Substack, what I've been doing is regularly posting comments and short snippets about live streams. Now, what is my purpose for doing that? Okay, my purpose for doing that is because if you're, and this is something I'm really going all in on, so it might be helpful for some of you. When you think about whatever it is that is your niche, it's the thing you talk about all the time. It's the flag that you're planting so people know what type of solutions you might provide for their challenges, right? For me, it's not so much that live stream is the answer. It is that live stream is an answer to helping you to become a thought leader brand. So I'm really getting clear about the messaging on that this year and really going all in on the idea that, especially if you're a service provider, if you're a coach, consultant, some type of service provider, and you are positioning yourself as an expert in some way, that you need to present yourself as that expert, right? And so I believe that live streaming and this conversation that we all get to have together, right, in real time, gives us the ability to really be able to shine and to showcase yourself as the expert in your niche. And so what I'm doing is I'm working more and more with people, whether it's in a one-on-one situation or inside of our academy, to learn how to leverage your own content and be really intentional and on purpose about what you're putting out into the world so that people see you as that authority. So in really kind of looking at my strategy for what it will look like on Substack, I realized that I wasn't doing that well enough. So Substack tends to be a mix of, if you want the visibility and you want to build a thought leader brand, it's a mix of having recurring notes, which are similar to threads, and some people call them, tweets on X or whatever they call them now on X, because I'm not there anymore. But But it's similar to that. So you're creating these threads or social media posts, but then you also are creating potentially articles of some kind. In my case, I turn my live stream that I do each week into an article. And so having that combination and answering people's questions and also commenting on other people's posts and engaging regularly, much like we would do on any other social media post. But what that tends to do is what I'm noticing on Substack that's different from some of the other spaces is I'm noticing that people are literally paying attention to those notes in such a way to where they're interacting and asking follow-up questions. And it's been so refreshing to see several people within the last week that have said, Tanya, thank you for inspiring me to do more live streams, which that's like a breath of fresh air to know that what I'm doing is really making an impact. So thank you for those of you who are on Substack. And that's why I want to answer your questions first. And I'm going to go over here into the activity pool and make sure that I say something. Okay. So one of the questions that came up, let me go in here. Yeah, I thought this was awesome. Halaku, you asked this question. The post that I shared was, here's the shift I teach my clients. Stop trying to be interesting. Start being more useful. Talk like you're on a client call, not a stage. Now, this is for those of us that are service providers, coaches, consultants, etc. Solve one problem, explain one concept, answer one question. That's personal branding without the performance, and it converts better than charisma ever will. Okay. My point being that I know there are a lot of people that do entertainment style posts and streams and video and that type of thing, and that's cool. But be mindful, especially as a coach or consultant or strategist, that you're attracting the right people. Because, I mean, any of us can position ourselves to get likes all day, right? If you decide you want to start doing dancing and singing or entertaining, but there's no specific substance or purpose behind it, you can get people's attention and they will like it. They might even love it. They might even come back to see more of that. But are they coming to you as an expert that's going to help them with a particular problem? Are they paying for your services, programs, and products? Maybe. But in my experience, that hasn't been the norm. So my point being, you want to think about how you're creating content in such a way that people can see themselves working with you if you're in one of those seats that I mentioned. Okay. So her question was this was the follow-up question. What if we already got that be interesting part on lock? I'm being sincere. I want to provide more value to my community. So I kind of haphazardly answered her, but I really want to answer that question. And here's what I'm going to say. It could be long, but I'll keep it a little brief if I can. I do not look like Keisha Cole. Yeah, I've never heard that one before, but okay, thank you. Let's see, Bill, I told you to stop dancing. You stop dancing. You can dance. You can dance if you want to. Isn't that a song? I'm not saying that you can't. But I'm saying that you want to think about what's the purpose and the intent. Am I driving people to a particular action, especially if you're in one of those roles where you're selling and you're promoting yourself to be an expert and a service provider? Okay. All right. So here's my answer to her. And again, her question. And in fact, what I'll do is I'm going to see if I can pop this up so that you can see what we're answering here. So let me do this. I'm going to add a banner real quick with her exact question. And so that she'll recognize if she happens to show up that I'm doing this for her. Okay. So here's the question. What if we already got the be interesting part on lock? So here's my answer to that. Yeah, you can be interesting. And then when you're thinking about how to provide value to your community, there's a couple of things I would start with. One is What is the core message that you want people to walk away with whenever they see your videos? What's the thing that you really want them to know and to walk away saying, okay, I get it. Like this is a theme that's running through the content every time I see Halleck on camera. This is what I walk away with. This is the message, right? And what you're going to do is you're thinking of that core message that's kind of like the hub on a wheel. Okay. So it's like the center part if you're thinking about a wheel. And then what you're going to do from that hub is you're going to branch out. There are going to be different branches. And I can kind of show you this in just a second. In fact, I'll do that. Let me do that real quick. I'm going to pop up something called X-Mind. And let's do a quick mind map. And if Halleck happens to be here, I'm going to look and see if she happens to be in here. And if so, I'm going to ask her to share more about her particular topic. Okay. And I don't know if I'll be able to see her. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and use my topic. And if anybody else has something that they want to pop into the chat your topic. Yes, Yvette, we are doing okay. I hope that you are having a great time too, and that you're safe. And hard to please God, hey, I'm not for everybody. You're not for me either, so it's all good. Okay, Colette, I'm glad that you were able to catch a live too. Thank you. And it's good to see you as well, Carlos. I love it. Yes, this is the absolute thing. Likes online are nice, but you want to build an online legacy. Yeah, I don't even know that I necessarily want to do the same. What I do want to do is I want to make an impact with the people who are intended to be in my space. I feel a sense of responsibility and accountability to those who I know I'm blessed to serve. And that is not everybody. So you saw, for those of you who are on YouTube, you see the guy who was like, this is not for him. Right? You got to know what's right for you and what's not. And I never pretend to be right for everyone, but I know who I am intended to serve. Right? So, okay. When I answer that question, let me pull up this. I'm going to try to pull up this X-Mind real quick here so that you can see what I'm talking about. And we'll do like a little exercise, a little mini exercise. And then what I'm going to do is I will also add for you let's pull it over here. Okay. What I'll also do is I'll come back to those questions that were starred so we can make sure that we cover those too. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and let's do this. And hopefully you'll be able to see this if you're watching vertical too. We will do a quick screen share and let's pop this up. So this is what I'm talking about. So Halleck's question in regards to how do you add value? Okay. We're adding value and we're showcasing for people what it is we want to talk about or what it is that they need to walk away with. The core message for me every single time I come on is going to be this. And hold on, I'm going to make this bigger so that you can really see it. Okay. My core message is going to have to do with live streams. And basically it is live streaming or live streams can help you create a standout. No, we'll do this, an authoritative brand. Okay. Right. So let's say that. So now if that's my core message, what are the subtopics or the spokes of the wheel? And that's what I'm sharing with you, Halleck, in answer to your question. If you're thinking about how you want to present value, you want to think about what's the core message and then what are the little subtopics that I want to talk about that are always going to point back to this. So for me, for many years, it has been that what we want to do is we want to connect with people. We want to convert people. We want to create amazing on-camera content. And let's see what else we want to do. We also want to I'm going to keep it at those 3. So I'm just giving you these to say, hey, these could be your pillar topics, just so that you can have an idea. Okay. So then if under the connect, what I'm doing is sharing with people how to actually create a community, then what I might be talking about over here is developing platforms for community building. And so I might be talking about different platforms such as Heartbeat Chat or Circle or other tools that are out there. So under this, I'm going to have several different topics that I might be talking about, and I'll keep drilling this down so that everything I talk about goes back to this core or central theme. So under the convert piece, maybe what I'm talking about is my sales funnel process, which is my ABC framework, which breaks down for people that you're going to have awareness video content. You're going to have bonding video content where you're bonding with your audience and creating relationship. You're going to have conversion content. And then you're going to have what I call delight content, which is the way that you are actually creating super referrers, people who are like, have been in your space and experienced you, and now they become raving fans. And then over here under create, I might be talking about how to actually set up your studio to create content. I might be talking about how to, that's the other one. I might be doing confidence building because that's a big one, right? So you kind of get the drift of what I'm saying. This is not going to look the same for you as it does for me. It's totally going to be whatever fits your particular topics. But when you're thinking about trying to drive value, you have to think about what that means for you as the expert, but then also what does that mean for the people that you want to serve? How are you serving them in a way that is going to be relevant and important and transform them from where they are now to where they want to be? So that's the answer. Thank you, Uncle James, over there on YouTube. Let's see. Okay, so here's another question. So I've got 3 questions in here that I'm going to try to answer. I'll do my best. And I won't stay on long, but I just wanted to come on for the reasons I already shared, right, earlier. And I'm glad that you're here. Whether you're here on Substack, I see quite a few people on Substack. So hello, folks over there. And then on YouTube as well. Let's go ahead and pop up these starred questions because I want to get to those. So Bill, you asked on the previous show, you discussed a Google product that created images better than most for free. It's called Whisk, WHISK. And so let me try to pop that one up and I'll show you an example of what I was talking about. That's a great question. Google Labs has a lot of free tools right now, which has been really interesting to me because some of you probably get this, but they're so positioned to be able to really integrate their AI, Gemini, into just every aspect of what we do from a business standpoint and from a productivity standpoint. So I'm constantly getting questions about, hey, how are you using Google right now? I just got one right before I jumped on this live. And there are so many different ways that you can go about using it because Notebook LM is awesome. Just about everything in the workspace is pretty awesome. I'm using Google Meet now instead of Zoom. So if you're already paying for workspace, why not get the maximum out of it? Now, this particular app I was talking about, Bill, is called Whisk, WHISK, and I'm going to pull it up real quick so you can kind of get a feel for what it looks like. And I'll show you how I've been using it, which has been really crazy. But it's also, again, it's free and it's also super good at what it does. Similar to like what we're using ChatGPT for and Gemini for using images. Let me show you what I've been doing with this. Okay, let me pull up another screen share real fast here. And there we go. All right, so I'm going to hide your question for a minute just so we can see everything. So Whisk is an experimental lab from Google. So the way that you're going to get there is you're going to go to labs.google or just type in Whisk, WHISK, and this will get you there. And so how I've been using this mainly has been that I've been actually pulling in real images of myself. Some of them are like my professional photo shoots, and then some of them are me in the wild speaking or wherever it might be, right? But I've been pulling those in as the subject. So you have several different ways that you can pull in information. So subject, and then as you go down on this left-hand side, you'll see scene. So you can give it notes about a specific scene, or you can pull in images of the scene that you want. And then the style is a whole other thing. So with style, you can say, hey, I want to create a style that looks like a plushie, or I want to create a style that looks like Legos, or whatever it might be, right? So you've got subject, you've got scene, and you've got style. And so what I've been doing is I've been pulling in different images for different purposes, right? And when I pull these images in, you can select up to 3 over here on the left-hand side. And then you can add in whatever additional prompt you want to include. And then it produces these images for you based on your prompts. And when I tell you, like, for purposes of creating YouTube thumbnails, this was one of my favorites that I created simply by using some of the images that I already had added and telling it I wanted an illustration of what 2026 is, giving me and here's what I'm doing, to be honest with you. I'm first going over to ChatGPT or over to Claude, and I'm saying, give me an idea for a prompt for a thumbnail. And then I'm bringing that prompt in here. So I think my original prompt, let's see. I don't know where my original prompt is for that one, but you can kind of get a feel for the way that it's giving. There's one. Okay. So right here, this actually was a prompt that I got from ChatGPT, and I told it the visual is going to be a split screen. On the left side, I've got this, you look exhausted. And then on the right side, you see me smiling. And I was able to create a beautiful prompt that had actual text that makes sense. It's pulling in images that look like me, and it gave me a perfect thumbnail that I can immediately use for a video. It's also giving me options for creating different banners and other things, all with AI that looks similar to me. It did the same thing with me and one of my guests. Now, one of the things, if you're adding other people, that I want you to be cautious about is that you need to get permission. So I've started building that permission into my podcast agreement and my guest interview agreement. I also was creating some images for Go Brunch. I won't go too deep into Go Brunch, but I was creating some images for Go Brunch because I wanted to make some new virtual rooms for our co-working spaces. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. And what you can do, if you ever see something like in this case, how it has the X over my face, I think what I ended up doing is I took this image and went over to Canva and then grabbed the object, the X, so that I could move it behind myself instead of in front of my face. So you can do a little extra tweaking, but I just love the way that it gave me the quality that I wanted. So you see how, and this is how I'm using it. So I hope that gave you an answer. If that was sufficient for your answer, Bill, it was Whisk, and it's one of their experimental lab tools. So I hope that helps. I'm going to wait and see if you got your question answered there. Okay. So your question was, did I discuss a Google product? That was it. Okay. I see 2 more questions in here that I'll try to tackle real quick. And then let me go back to these live questions as well. Thank you, Bill. Yeah. You said 100. Okay. Awesome. Unc James, you use Dream Scene AI? I haven't even seen that. So now I got to go check that out. Yes. Yes. We got a lot of trolls on YouTube today for some reason. I guess everybody's bored. It's all good. I won't be shaken. Just know that. Okay, so let's go to stars again. Dr. Vibe Show, you had a question And your question was, do you use the free or paid version of Notebook LM? What are the differences between the free and paid version? I like this question as well. I kind of answered it in my recent class where I talked about Notebook LM. And it looks like I need to do another class because I've had a lot of people follow up and say, hey, I didn't get the notice about PJs and prompts and I want to come. So I would suggest, here's a couple of things that we found out during that class. One is we found out, Dr. Vibe, that free notebook, well, first of all, depending on the level that you have, even if you do have paid, it's going to give you less or fewer notebooks available to you, and it may minimize the features that you have access to as well. So in my Notebook LM, which is a paid version that is included with Workspace, in my Notebook LM, I have access to all of the different features that they have available to them. I'm trying to see if I can find some of those for you real quick. Let me get you one up. I'm going to pull it up real quick here. Okay, I've got one. So I'm going to pull this up for you so you can see what I'm talking about. So you're going to have limitations on the features and you'll have limitations on the sources that you're able to pull in and potentially limitations on the number of notebooks. That's what we saw. That's what we experienced when we were doing the class. So let me show you real fast here. Okay. So for instance, and you'll have to check this if you have the free version of Notebook LM, you may not have access to all of these different types of content. So what I do now, whenever I actually do a YouTube live, I'm pulling that YouTube live over using a Chrome extension that instantly allows my YouTube videos to go over to Notebook LM. And so when it pulls those in, I can go into the studio and leverage any of these tools to create additional assets from the content that I've already created from that live stream. And so, for instance, one of the things that I did when I created this video recently about the live streaming shift, what coaches need to know right now, is I actually created an infographic, which you'll have the capability of being able to do. But you may have some limitations and you're going to want to check that, okay? But I was able to do that using very specific prompting that gave me the type of imagery that I wanted. And it pulled notes from the transcript of the video, which is awesome. And you know what? You may be able with the free version to still do some of this, Dr. Vibe. So check it out and see, and then you'll know if you're committed to using it more frequently and regularly. You'll know if you need more space because it may be worth it to upgrade. I do love all of the capabilities that this thing has for creating infographics, reports, even quizzes, slide decks, all kinds of stuff. And I've created a lot of little miniature videos that then show up on my pages. So on my website, and all of that is strictly from Notebook LM. So it's been well worth the investment of Google Workspace. And even if you don't have Workspace, it might be well worth it depending on how you want to use it to repurpose your own content. I've done a whole bunch of other things with it too, but for sake of time, that's the thing that I think I would share with you is that there's probably limitations. I know for sure there's limitations in the number of notebooks, but also potentially on the features that you have available to you. You are very welcome. You're very welcome. Okay, so I think there was a third question that I want to try to get here. And then I'm going to pop over to Substack and see if we've got folks that are asking questions there. Okay, so Dr. Sherry Crocker, I can't put your comment up because Substack hasn't given us that ability yet. And we are a little bit behind. I can see that. We're a little bit behind. So here's what I would say. Yes, I can see and engage with your Substack following, with my Substack following. Now, if I'm using Ecamm Live, if I were using Ecamm Live, I would have even more capabilities because I have a workaround that I can show you how to use. I think I might even have a post where I walk through how to do this, but there is a way to showcase Substack comments on screen so that you can know for sure she's engaging with me. She's talking to me. But Dr. Sherry, I do see you. Okay, you're welcome. D asked a question before I pop up this question from Yvette. D says, I can't figure out how to watch and engage in various chats across the platforms using Restream. Okay, excellent question. So when you are using Restream, so here's the thing, and I don't know, D, and you'll have to put this into the comments in Substack. Are you using Substack in addition to, like, where are you streaming to? Give me an idea on where you're streaming to. Because what I would suggest to you is, depending on where you're streaming to and the live stream platform that you're using to stream, that's going to determine how easy or how many workarounds you'll have to do in order to engage. So you've got Substack and YouTube. Perfect. Okay. So here's what I'm going to say to you. For now, at this time, now mind you, I'm saying that today, which is January 24th, 2026 at 7:54 p.m. Central Time. Because if you're watching this later, Substack may have changed and they have matured by then, But right now, what is happening is Substack has not yet given us the capability of being able to engage within a third-party streaming platform. And what I mean by that is you're using Restream. Right now, in this moment, I'm actually using StreamYard. Sometimes I use, or a lot of times I use Ecamm Live, which is my favorite. But whatever the platform is that you're using, Substack has yet to natively allow us to pull in comments into that universal feed, that universal inbox, if you will. So we have a universal chat that you can see when you're doing Restream, right? It's only going to pull in today YouTube, Facebook comments. LinkedIn has been a little iffy. LinkedIn has sometimes I can see them in my Ecamm platform chat box, and sometimes I can't. So all of that depends on like what you're using, what's the setup. So here's what I would do, D, is I would suggest, like what I'm doing right now is I have a separate Substack window that is open so that I can see those comments off to the side. And then I have my chat, my universal chat from StreamYard. I can see that on screen inside of the StreamYard space. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. So yeah, if you've got Twitter/X and that's connected, it's been a long time since I've been connected to X. So if you have that and you're able to see that, it's probably going to be a part of your universal chat box as well. But you're going to have to test that. Now, the best thing you can do, in my opinion, you may not be at this point yet, but my life changed for streams when I was able to have multiple monitors. So 2 things that were like big game changers for me with live streaming. One, right now I have 1, 2, 3, I've got 4 monitors, right? So I can dedicate one to screen sharing. I have one that I'm looking at right now here. And then I've got 2 others that I'm not even using at this moment. But that was one thing that really helped out. And the other thing, even if you don't have multiple monitors, is having like an ultra wide monitor. So the main one, even if I didn't have other monitors, my ultra wide gives me space to put my StreamYard or Restream or Ecamm Live windows over on one side of the monitor, and then I can put my Substack on the other. So just something to think about. I do not have a video on that yet, but now you've given me an idea. I guess I need to do one so we can talk about setup. Okay. Yes, and in our Stream Bosses Academy, as well as in the different workshops and courses that we're in the process of recording now, we'll have some setup ideas for you there too. So that would be something for you to watch for. Okay. Yes, D, you probably need to join us for a co-working event. So So I'm going to make sure I get those invites out soon. Come join us, and that way we can make sure you get all set up. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let me answer this question from Miss Yvette C. Lee Music. In this holding pattern, I'm reevaluating my presence on YouTube. I want to add more value when I start my lives back. I love it. Okay. So to give me more about your question, because this looks more like a statement, and I applaud you for the statement. Look, there's a thing. I know that people talk about adding value. I talk about that a lot myself because that's a thing for me. But then I also know that as humans, we also value entertainment. And you're a musician, an incredible musician, a talented musician. And what you deliver with your music is beautiful, it's impactful, it's transformational. So please don't feel like you're not offering value with what you do. That is what you do. That is your niche, and you do very well with that. If you wanted to add other things, what I would do, I would suggest, Yvette, because you have had some consistency with YouTube for some time. So you do have an audience that's there, a community of people who watch you, from what I recall. And one of the things that I probably would do if I were you is I would do a little polling. So make your comeback, like get back on camera and start doing some more music. And in the process of you delivering that music in between, because I know you do a little talking in between too, I've seen. In between, ask those questions. Ask, what do people need? What do they want to see more of from you? And here's the other thing. Even if you don't get answers, experiment, play. This is my mantra moving forward. And I said this on Substack one day, and a lot of people vibe with them. If it ain't fun, I ain't doing it. Moving forward, if it's not fun and if it becomes another chore, it feels more like work, or it's more adding to more depression, I don't want to do it. I won't do it. So you get to play. You get to use this as a playground, your YouTube, and you get to experiment. And for those things that work, you keep doing those things that work. Do more of what works. And for the things that don't work, stop. Just don't do it anymore. No one is ever going to be hurt with the making of your music on YouTube. That's what I always remind myself. Like, nobody's going to be falling apart, or there's no one that's going to be injured in some way if I do a YouTube video or I don't. So have fun with it. Yes. Do the music, be you. This is what you do. So I love, love, love that you get a chance to do that. What could I add? Yep. And where you would start is, first of all, experimenting. Coming up with some ideas that as the musician and as the talent could be effective, and test them out and see what your audience is really gravitating towards. Let's see. All right. Miss Colette, is your Stream Bosses Academy open for applications? So this is a good question because I'm about to shut it down. Let me tell you why. This is something I've been having a chat with my business manager about, and also with, Claude and Chatty. What I'm finding is that there's a lot of onboarding that I need to do and that I want to do, and it has become an exclusive space for support and for creating a safety net for the people who are members in that space. And for those who are in there, if you're watching, you know what I'm talking about right now. And I think it's needed, because there are not a lot of safe spaces for some of us, especially when it comes to digital marketing and online. Again, some of you may have even noticed some of the comments that are here in my YouTube thread, that people are just ridiculous, right? So what I want to make sure that I'm doing is that I want to spend that time. So for those of you who don't know what Stream Bosses Academy is, it's been a space that I've had since 2021. It has gone through a number of different iterations. And one of the things that I learned, especially last year through some different experiences, is that I am very protective. I create a sense of safety and put really clear boundaries in place. And so one of the things I've implemented is that when you join, there is a 7-day trial. So you won't be charged right out the gate. This may resonate with some of you who are creating your own community. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and spend a little bit of time on this. What I ended up doing is I set that 7-day trial in place. And the reason for that is not only for you to know if it's the right space for you, it's also for me to know if it's the right space for you. Because as I said a couple of times since I've been on this stream tonight, I'm not for everybody and everybody's not for me. And I'm learning as I mature that is absolutely okay. But what's important, my mental health and wellness and that of the people who I feel responsible for that are in there is more important than anything right now. And so we're going to learn in a safe and secure space. And that means that sometimes it's not going to be the right connect. And I may have to say, this is not the right space for you, given what you want to do and how you roll and communicate. I know that this is not the right space. And so what I'm getting ready to do, because I do have, for instance, I've got 3 new members that have come on within the last month. I am personally onboarding people within that 7-day trial, and we are having a talk about your goals and about your vision and about how you're showing up online in other ways and about the community and what it's intended for and all of that. And it takes time for me to do that. And it's been taking significant time for me to do so beyond my other premium level coaching and consulting. And so what I'm getting ready to do is to turn this into not an evergreen, always on switch. But what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 to 3 times a year that I open up applications. So Colette, reach out to me because I know you and we've already been connected because of Second Act Story. So reach out to me. Yeah. Thank you, Yvette C. Lee. Yeah, I'm just in that place right now where the boundaries, they're firm and they're real. And I just don't mess around anymore because it's too much. People are over the top. We see what's happening in the world. And I think some people have gotten a license or feel like they have a license to just treat you any type of way they choose. And I'm just not having it. I'm too grown for that. I've been through too much and I'm just not going to have it. And it doesn't mean everyone. I'm just very clear on who belongs in those spaces. So, yeah, people can't. Curtis, you are so right. Curtis said he's over on Substack, so I can't pop it up, but people can be exhausting sometimes. Yes, they can. It's a whole other job trying to manage people and their idiosyncrasies. And I just, yeah, Yvette, I'm going to pop this up because you're right. There's way too much more to focus on. So Dee said boundaries are important and I stand by them. Absolutely. They really are. So when you're thinking about creating community, you have to think about all the things. It's not just let me put some content out here. And maybe it is. For some people, I feel like that's what it is. It's like, I'm going to put some content out here and I'm going to create this space and I'm going to have 500,000 people in it. And you do you, if that's what you want to do. I am an introvert with a much more intimate sense of community. And so when I build communities, I build small, intimate communities of people who have a goal and a purpose that aligns so that everybody's on the same page and we flow and it's beautiful. And I can tell when there's a poison that seeps into that space that makes it rocky and makes it difficult for people to feel free. to be able to share what's on their mind. You know, here's the thing. Sometimes when we have our co-working days, we call them creator days. Some people will come in and they'll say, I just wanted to be in the bubble. I just wanted to be here, you know, with all of you to just have a sense of safety. I didn't even necessarily want to work on something today. And they have that permission to do that. And the way that I'm creating the community, the environment for that community allows us to be able to thrive in that way. And so I am very particular and meticulous about how I protect that space and who comes into it, which is why I don't advertise Stream Bosses Academy a lot. Only if you've like been in one of my workshops will you even probably know about it. Okay? So I'm just saying, right? It's all about, yeah, Hicks, you know. And Hicks, you know, because I've shared with you some of the stuff going on. Ain't nobody got time. I don't have time to mess around. And I really just won't give away my life to ignorance, to people who are ignorant. I won't do it. Yeah, Curtis says, I completely agree with you. I don't play with them. Dee says, she says, I have called divisive actors in my community. Yes, you just have to know. And I'll tell you all, since it's coming up, maybe I'm meant to say this. I don't know if this is going to help somebody. But one of the things that I learned through some of the situations that happened is that it is super, super duper important for you to put together your rules of etiquette, your community guidelines, to be clear about how you want each of the spaces that you're creating for your community to be used. And not only that you put this out there and set the expectations clearly in writing, but I found that it's important to do it verbally also, which is why I do the one-on-ones. And additionally, and this is the most important thing, not only do you set the expectations, but you enforce and reinforce. You don't wait around for it to create poison and for people to leave because now that space has been tainted. You be direct and you be bold and authoritative because it's your space. And that's just where I am. It's just where I am. It's what I've learned. Yes. Colette, this is why I'm saying go ahead and reach out. So DM me when you get a chance. I see your note. I see your note. And you know, because you've been in some of our spaces already. The reclaiming decade. Hello. Exactly. Many of us are reclaiming our time, reclaiming our energy. Yes, and reclaiming our space and saying, I'm planting my flag here. This is what it's going to be. And if you don't like it and you don't align, it's okay. And we, with love, will allow people to move on. Such as the guy earlier in the comments. Okay, let me see. Iona said, I'm so with you on this. I have zero tolerance for this kind of behavior. Yes, I learned the hard way. Now I have everything in writing now. Yes, and enforce it, and I have to protect the room. It's what we have to do. And I know everybody's not going to resonate with this. I know this in my heart of hearts. But for those who do, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what, yes, with love and with grace. I don't mind being graceful about it, but at the same time, if I have to be more bold and direct, then I will. I don't have a problem with that. Yes. All right, y'all. So I'm looking to see if there's any other questions. Yes, reclaiming is the key. Reclaimed Women is the name of your community. I love that, Iona. Yes, yes, yes. All right, y'all. Okay. Used to read them at the beginning of our Monday chat, but now 5 years later, people know the rules. Okay. And see, people in my community know the rules as well. What I found is that it's the people that are new. And if you allow people to come into the space and create dissension, it may be too late by the time you let them go. which is why I now have the 7-day trial in place and the requirement that you must meet with me one-on-one in that period of time so that we can talk about the rules and then we can get you acclimated and we can make some decisions about whether or not it's a good connect, right? Yes, you're very welcome. Dr. Vibe Show. Yep. Sting, the police. If you love somebody, set them free. I know that's right. Let me see. Bill said, "You're speaking the truth. Keep with truth. Keep truth. Keep doing you. I am loving the vibe. You are seen and you make other people feel seen." I hope so. Curtis said, "There's a lot of grown people who still don't know how to play in the sandbox together." That's the truth. I said truth. Iona said, "You are helping so many people tonight." I hope so. I hope so. I just wanted to come on here and answer a couple of questions. And so it led to this conversation, which means it must have been for somebody. It was meant for someone to hear and to really absorb this, which I appreciate. Okay, y'all. So what I'm about to do is to get ready. Yes, let the bridges you burn light your way forward. I love it, D. Confirmation for you. Okay, good. Awesome. The conversation was needed. Well, thank you, Yvette. Look, I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. I have, this has been great. Yeah, the ice is heading this way. That's what I was going to say as well. So for those of you who are struggling through the ice and the cold weather and the snow and all of the things, please stay safe. Keep yourself safe. Hopefully you stay warm. For those of you who may have lost heat, I hope that you're able to get assistance and support very soon. I really, really sincerely appreciate you. And I'm just always thankful for the opportunity to be in your circle. So when I'm on these live streams, I feel like I'm a part of your community and you're a part of mine. And I just want to thank you for that. Yes, praying for you as well, Iona. Dr. Sherry, I love thank you. And I love that you're here to hear it. All right, y'all. Okay, so feel free to reach out if you do have questions inside of any of the chats where you might be connected with me. If you go to streamlikeaboss.tv/links, that will connect you to any of the spaces that you prefer to connect and reach out. For those of you who really, truly have questions versus I see some folks coming in that I don't really know, but just know that I'm open. And if I can help, then I will be happy to help in some way. Now, if it's longer than a quick hitter question and we need to do a strategy session, I'm going to direct you in that regard as well. But meanwhile, I will be seeing you next week in the stream. I doubt that I'll be back on again until probably Thursday of next week. But until then, I hope that you stay safe. Remember that your voice is needed and that you can serve other people by simply showing up and speaking up in a way that a lot of people won't. So show up, stand out, and serve others. Take care, and I will see you next week in the stream.